After watching this video, you may feel a bit dizzy, a bit nauseous, maybe a bit shocked. Why is that? Well, this video is saying the quiet parts out loud. Here it is, the elephant in the room, displayed on a big screen, nowhere to hide. Every word hitting like a punch. Not because we are surprised of what we hear. We hear these words all of our lives. They may seem innocent individually, but added up together, they reveal the paradox. They reveal the permanent pressure that has been shaping women and the way that women see themselves or seen by men and by society for centuries. And sadly, sisters, very often, they also shape the way on how we see ourselves. Whether we come from the capital of Europe or from a small village in India, we experience the same. Relatives, friends, colleagues, even strangers, all of them thinking they need to tell us what to do. All those words and impressions which we read and see every day without filters in magazines, commercials, movies, on TV, on social media. And so, sisters, we carry a very, very big responsibility for passing on these stereotypes, generation after generation, sometimes even without realizing it. Even if we define ourselves as feminists, even as empowered women, as we are, even as leaders. What is it about? It is about the impossible standards forced on women, forced on us. It is about the mental charge of being all those contradicting things at once. It is about the fact that no matter what we do, to some people, we will always be wrong. The goals and the expectations that we have been set for women are not attainable or unrealistic, and above all, they are totally unfair and discriminating. And of course, the media too, they carry a responsibility by repeating again and again the same old cliches about women. The women object, the temptress, the flawless woman, combining career and family on high stilettos. The happy caring housewife with a freshly baked cake for husband and children. You know, even I sometimes have to fight myself not to fall into cliches. This morning I was standing in front of my closet, wondering what to wear. You all know the feeling. And my hand pointed out to a suit, because we all wear a suit to feel empowered, to act and dress like a man. But I decided today to do otherwise. I put on a dress today, a short, summery dress. It is 25 degrees after all, with a décolleté, because I am proud to be a woman, and so I dress like a woman. It is one small way to fight the stereotype, to fight the unfair expectations. And when I was writing this speech, I remember an incident when I was in my 20s. I worked as an advisor for a senior member of government. And one day I had to replace her as a speaker at a very important and high-level event. Back then, I put on a nice black suit and a white shirt to look professional. I was nervous, of course, but I looked forward to it. And when I arrived, the organizers, they spotted me. They walked up to me and they said, "You must be from the catering." Ladies, the lesson is never try to fit in. Dress the way you want, act the way you want, just be who you are. And you see, it works. Women are becoming more and more comfortable on being her. But, of course, there is always a but. there are still so many fights to be fought. Stereotypes are, for example, massively used to sell any product, from dishwashers to toothpaste to chocolate bars. It seems that women have that power, or at least their bodies do, to make any ordinary object to look hot, to look sexy. Almost 50% of women, 50% are sexualized in commercials, as opposed to only 2% of men. Should we do something to address it? Should we legislate on the way women are portrayed in all forms of media? I throw the ball to you. Can we do more? Is it enough? Is it enough that we support media initiatives that promote gender equality in political coverage? Can we hope that the media will highlight our policies and achievements rather than comment on our appearances, on our personal lives? Whether we have nice hair or style, of course we all have. Why don't you have children? Implying that maybe it is because we are too ambitious? Who our partner is, and how is it feel for him to be the man in the shadow? Do we also need to legislate on other forms of female representation? Should we introduce more conditions of inclusion in government funding of media? Sisters, are we doing enough? Are we ready as a society to achieve full equality? I honestly don't know the answer to these questions. Is there a right answer? What I do know is the fact that we are politicians. Our strength lies in our actions. So maybe is the time for #MeToo in politics. I have been pointing out the problem for a very long time. Where there is a power, there is abuse of power. And that abuse often has a gender dimension, from certain remarks to downward vulgar talks, to inappropriate sexual conduct. Women are belittled, their self-esteem eroded, and their dignity is totally denied. I joined politics in my early 20s, already 20 years ago, out of conviction, because I wanted change, I wanted to contribute, I wanted to have a positive impact. And I don't think it will surprise you, any one of you, that a young woman in politics has to endure a lot. Well, girls, it is those stories that I do not want to hear anymore. I no longer want to hear that a young woman's ideas are being ignored in a conference room until a man says exactly the same thing and everybody applauds him. I have experienced that. I no longer want to hear a young MP get sexual comments when she gives a male colleague a simple compliment. I wish I hadn't experienced it. I can handle it right now, but it scares away young, talented girls. To save the future generations of politics, we all of us, we need to stand up. It is our duty as politicians to set a higher example for others to follow. It is our duty as women political leaders to speak out against sexist remarks, to speak out against horrible behaviors in politics. We cannot remain silent when we hear inappropriate jokes or comments, when they undress us with their eyes, or when we receive remarks about our cleavage. And by the way, here is a message to all the sweet men. Luckily, there are. It doesn't mean that you can't give me compliments. I do encourage that, and I like that. But seriously, as female politicians, we will never endure, we will never tolerate a hostile work environment. And that is why, 6 months ago, I signed with 120 Belgian MPs an open letter condemning sexism in politics to ignite a #MeToo movement in Belgium. When is it the time for #MeToo in politics? The answer is very simple. When we all decide that enough is enough. We have to break the ultimate taboo at the highest level of our democratic system. The political world was designed by men. It was designed for men. The professional culture itself is sexist and macho. And we all know that has to change. In that open letter, we proposed the creation of an independent body for all sorts of violence in politics. It is crucial that victims have a place, that they have a secret place to run. The world of politics, of course, is nowhere different than any other industry or corporation. It is a macho world in which women can also display macho behavior. We all need sisterhood. We already told that so many times. And let me hereby quote Madeleine Albright. She said, "There is a special place in hell for women who don't support other women." It is also a problem that in many parliaments there is no code around harassment and transgressive behavior for MPs. My colleague Kilian and I set ourselves the goal to become the most gender-friendly parliament in Europe towards 2030. We ordered an audit. We ordered a strategic vision and an action plan for gender mainstreaming within our parliament. We recommended first measures such as a code of conduct. Practical, simple measures which we can already take and which can help us move, step by step, in the right direction. If each one of us would only sweep our own doorstep, the whole world would be clean, a wise woman once said. So let us all begin by cleaning our own doorstep. Let's learn from each other, and let us each do what we can. And finally, a last comment and thought. Why did we remain silent for so long about that sexist culture? First of all, I think because we are afraid of our career. But most of all, we are often faced by disbelief. Sometimes we feel alone and we feel isolated with our stories to tell. We were told that maybe we were being too sensitive, that maybe we were imagining it, that maybe we were overreacting. Endure the pain, girl. Stop complaining. If you can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen. But when 120 women MPs stand up together with the same stories, with the same burning feelings, there is no longer an argument for denying the truth. And above all, as women political leaders, we are not standing up for ourselves. We are, above all, standing up for all women. We owe all women to keep speaking up. It would be a very big fault to remain silent, because silence does not solve a thing. So let us raise awareness. Let us support each other. Let us share our stories. Let's act, because together we are strong. Together we are unstoppable. Be a lady, they said. Fuck off. Who do you think? Who do you think you are? I say, just be yourself. I thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie Doze.